welcome to Tash TV. So excited to be with you this Friday. Hope you have had a super week and are looking forward to a really, not just a really, but a really great weekend. Today we've got a question about what kind of exercises and things that I do on or off the horse to increase my flexibility. The rider mentioned that she was feeling a little bit stiff and sore in the saddle, and is there any kind of tools or things that she can do? So yeah, flexibility and being supple is really important. If you're tight or kind of impinged somewhere, or carrying something, that's going to affect your balance and going to affect where your horse goes. So it's really interesting to watch my husband ride. He started to take up riding just a little bit, because we're going to Africa, and I said, we've got to ride some horses in Africa, and I would prefer it if you didn't fall off and get eaten by a lion, so can we please do some riding. And really interesting, he was riding one of my old horses, so a very high school trained horse who very much listens to the seat aid. And on one side the horse goes straight, and on the other side the horse kept doing 10-metre circles. And Phil is a gorgeous rider who just laughs and just says, well, I don't know, the horse can do whatever it wants. And it was very interesting because leaving the horse to do whatever it wants, well, he kept feeling, I guess, that, there was more weight on that inside seat bone, so the horse kept doing circles to, thinking that was the aid and, trying to get under the weight. So that was really cool for me as a trainer to see, wow, the horse can really tell you what's wrong. So rather than going, yeah, my horse is stiff to the left, or, my horse doesn't half pass to the left, right, it's sometimes a hint to you, especially if you can ride more than one horse. So all my horses struggle more with the flying change to the left. Do you think it's all my horses? Totally, because I'm perfect. No, that would have to be me. Anything that I see consistent with all my horses, I just go, cool, that's still feedback to me to increase my suppleness and increase my weight and just make sure I'm completely balanced. And of course, it's a real challenge to be 100% balanced and 100%, supple and all that kind of stuff, but I guess that's what we do as riders. We obviously want our horses to be the best horses that they can be. So we need to put that same pressure on ourselves to be the best riders we can be for them. So yeah, that's probably the first thing. You look at the feedback from your horse rather than seeing if he's stiff. Go, okay, am I holding somewhere? So I always collapsed a little bit to the right, and you could see it because my shoulders weren't straight. So you could say, oh, fix up your shoulders, but you can see I've still kept my weight on my left seat bone, so it wasn't actually a shoulder issue, it was stemming from a hip issue. So it's also really important to get to the core issue of what's causing the imbalance. Like, is it a hip, or is it a shoulder, or is it a stomach, or what's actually failing there to make the behaviour, the exhibition of the problem. It might not be that, it might not be the shoulder, it might be your knee or something. What do I do? So if I know that I have a fault, so like with that shoulder, I for 3 weeks very much said, okay, I'm going to make sure I put 100% of weight onto the other seat bone to try and balance that out, and then the feedback from the coaches was that it was balancing out. So it's just having conscious awareness. The minute you kind of switch off and focus more on the horse or something, you've gone back into unconscious riding, which is fine if the behaviour that you want to do is unconscious. But if you're consciously changing a habit or consciously changing what you want to do, you've got to keep having conscious awareness of it. So you have to keep saying right shoulder up or left heel down or whatever it is. One of my legs, I remember my left leg always came too far back, so I was like left leg forward, and I wouldn't even care what the horse's head was doing, what I was doing. I'd just be left leg forward, left leg forward, left leg forward, left leg forward for 3 weeks until my left leg was too forward, and then I had to bring it back. But that's all good. So yeah, just make sure that you're really strict on yourself and you keep reminding yourself of where you need to be in your position. I hate using the word older, but I can't use any other word. The older I get, the more I realise how important being flexible is. I think, well, I know when I was young, I used to jump on the trampoline, I used to run, I used to jump, and I used to do all these things, and I never did a thing, what they call a cool down, and I never did a warm up, and I definitely never ever stretched in my life. And I was very flexible. I could do the splits, I could touch my back, my legs to the back of my head, and I thought that was normal, and old people couldn't do it, and I thought, oh, well, I'll never be one of them. And then I woke up one day day and I couldn't do it anymore. And I went, how did that happen? So I think it's really important that you do have a stretching routine in place. Obviously with riding, you want to make sure that you're inside, I'm not very good with my anatomy, is it hamstrings? Just the inside of your legs aren't too tight, because if they are, they're going to be, you know, propping you out, up above the saddle, and you want to be sitting deep into the saddle. You want to make sure that you can really lengthen your leg, so you don't have a tight, I think that is your hamstring, the one at the back, because then that's going to be shortening your legs and having, you know, you drawing your legs up, and you want to make sure you can have that really nice long leg. This is for dressage, I have no idea for cross country. But yeah, you want that really nice long leg, and you also want to have that really nice balanced torso, so you don't want to be collapsing in a shoulder or collapsing in a hip. You don't want to have tight hips, you want to have nice open hips, nice open shoulders. You don't want to be hunched, you want, you know, a really nice opening through the chest area, so you can, you know, present yourself and be like, hello, I'm here. Yeah, so that's my biggest thing, just any kind of stretching routine. Just go to a gym, I go to a gym, and you know, just whatever stretches they do, I have a certain amount of stretches I do. You know, I'm still liking to do the splits, so I add that kind of stuff. I don't know how good that is for your riding. Probably the biggest thing that I've got for your riding is your back. Your back is so crucial, and I speak to a lot of riders, and me myself, who've had back issues. And the back issues, I know for me, I'm not saying for everybody, but the back issues I had stemmed from not being flexible. Meaning that I'd stiffened through my back, and I hadn't stretched that area out, so it stiffened and stiffened and stiffened and stiffened and got a lot worse. So you want to make sure you're very supple in that area, very loose. So especially with riding, I think it does take a pounding. You know, you're sitting trot, you're just, you know, getting in there, going, I'll take it, I'll take it. With your trotting canter, well, you just got to make sure you supple that area and make sure that it can take that kind of pressure. I know when I have a sore back and I'm doing a sitting trot, I'm like, oh, my spine can't handle this pounding kind of thing. So you've got to make sure that you do have that flexibility and everything's open for it. So a lot of back stretches I think is really important as well. So leg stretches, back stretches, and maybe a few chest stretches to make sure you're not getting round in the shoulders. Is my feedback for you. So have fun, enjoy, and have a fabulous